Okay, it's 6 o'clock. So I think let's get started here. Um, Everyone, thanks for coming. We thought it'd be fun to do a kind of a recap of things that we did in 2024, and kind of go through them, and then also take a look at what's going to come in 2025, and also get your guys' feedback. So obviously we do our survey at the end of the year. There's great opportunity to provide feedback there, and the features that you want to see from us. But we'll kind of just go through, and then I thought maybe what we'd do is we can mention them, and feel free to chat if you have questions or comments. And we'll basically just kind of go through them, down the list. There's not really a particular order. I suppose these are kind of how they happened overall, um, or the order that they happened, if you will. Okay. So, and it's funny, Matt and I both had the same thought when we were putting the list together. Um, there's more than we thought, actually, that was accomplished in 2024. I don't know, however that works in the mind where you think that not as much got done or something like that, and then we're like, oh wow, there's actually quite a bit
Yes,
here.
as soon as it goes out, I forget about it. It's and yeah, it's always I think over the years, we started out doing it just kind of to just kind of check in, take another look at plan for the year ahead. And I, personally I kind of enjoy the process, just looking back, seeing what we did, seeing what Check Cherry looked like a year ago, seeing what we have planned for the next year. So yeah.
So a couple of things. I mean, I'm just kind of going through it. I'm going to have an article here soon, just work in progress. But one of the things we did was we updated the underlying infrastructure of our UI and upgraded the user interface in several different areas. And it's always a balance, I suppose, for us, right? We don't want to make too many changes or too stark of a change, but we want to keep on pushing the direction of Check Cherry to be more modern and sleek and all that stuff. Quite frankly, I find it hard because there's so much text in our UI to, it is what it is. But we did several things to make it, more intuitive and more responsive, visually appealing, and expect that to continue, I would say in 2025. Just softening things up and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's
Um,
kind of our goal on a lot of the UI stuff is to just do it slowly. We're not fans of the giant, rewrite where everything changes all at once. I think we kind of both prefer to slowly move it forward so so it's not too hard to find stuff. Hopefully things slowly improve and you kind of get used to
yeah.
it as you make changes.
Yeah. And I think it's also worth mentioning the way we build software. I mean, there are a lot of smaller changes that happen throughout the year that aren't really notable, right? We don't necessarily tell people about it. It's not necessarily noteworthy. But I think that the combination of those smaller changes makes the app better over time, more reliable, easy to understand, more consistent, all that stuff. And so, it's been, a process. And not everything in here is, I mean, I guess all the changes aren't necessarily listed in here, but we also enhanced questionnaires quite a bit. So we did questionnaires, obviously you attach those to your bookings if you need to collect more information. And we had the reordering of questions, drag and drop. That's new in 2024. Conditional questions, which was outstanding request for a long time. Yeah, there you can drag and drop. You get your conditional questions. So basically, if a person asks, if a person answers in a specific manner, another question could show up. That's been popular. You can also build a questionnaire based on an add-on, right, being purchased, so to speak. And so that's great because one of the things that I see people will do is they have really, yeah, you just select the add-on right there. Um, you know, Basically, the questionnaires can get really long and laborious for your clients, basically. And I think this is a way to help just get the information that you require. And there's the revision history on questionnaires. So, that's pretty cool because you can see over time how they were answered or if somebody changed something. I guess that doesn't have anything. Um, but that's helpful as well. And then you can allow clients to unlock questionnaires within a set time frame, offering more flexibility. And long story short is clients would lock questionnaires and then I think even mistakenly at times. And then admins would have to go in there and unlock it, that type of stuff. And so now you can have it where they can unlock it, call it like, hey, within a week before the booking, feel free to unlock it, that type of stuff. Um, one of the more important features that we launched in 2024 was the customizable dashboard. And Matt and I were talking that we were we're surprised. I guess we're not big customization of dashboard users ourselves in apps, Matt, but we were surprised because I mean a lot of people customize the dashboard. So you guys seem to really like it, so that's awesome. And that was just I would say generally consistent feedback on the survey from last year was in some form or other, people were looking for some type of customization around dashboards, seeing the calendar on the homepage or something, whatever it was. Um, Matt, would you say we've gotten a lot of feedback on the dashboard in terms of, enhancements
No,
or
we haven't. Yeah. So the way we built it, like you said, we got a ton of feedback in last year's survey. Um, people wanted to show something else on the dashboard, not show something, show a calendar, things like that. And so it was obvious that, hey, we just need to make it customizable so people can build it how they want. There wasn't anything we could do that would make everybody happy on that. So it was just kind of, let's have tools and so we've got the way it's built, we can pretty easily add widgets. We've had a few little requests here, things like I think brands on some of the widgets, some minor things. But yeah, we haven't had too many requests on that.
for new
Um,
components, if you will, right?
yeah, I'm not sure if we've had any new component requests.
And
Maybe
so
we did.
in some ways, I think that's good because it sounds like we cover most of the bases. But if you ever have thoughts or feedback on the dashboard, feel free to chat with us, let us know. Always good to see the feedback, but there's a lot of options here, and it seems like it's working for most people.
Yeah, and a lot of them are customizable as well. So if you're not sure how to, see your leads and kind of break them up in different ways, maybe there's a way to do that too. So, just
Yeah.
chat with us if you're looking for
Yep.
something.
Just a couple of chats in the so Larry says, hey, changes have been great. I don't use the mobile app since subscribing. Have there been updates there as well? Yeah, and I'll cover them. Yeah, Larry, feel free to use the native app. Keep in mind, Check Cherry also the web app works great on mobile. People really like the native apps too, and we'll talk about it later. But you also get in-app notifications, which are really cool with the native app. Cam says, is the conditional question that can wait is the conditional question can that be used in the inquiry process as well, not just the normal questionnaire? So in other words, Cam, I'm assuming what you mean on a lead form, if I'm asking for lead forms and all that stuff. I don't, Matt, I believe no. The answer is no.
So, yeah, not there. You can do things like show certain, like during the online booking, you can show certain questions based on the package. But that's about it. We don't have
Yeah. What are you thinking of use case in there? Is it like, hey, pick a service and then only show packages, for example, related to that service?
So an example is I want to qualify my customers. I already have pricing on my website, but they all seem to pass that and go direct to the contact page. And so if there is a thing like they click an event style and then it populates based on the event style, a question, like an example would be my pricing starts at $5,000. Can you or are you okay with that? And then they can select
Right,
that and then they
totally.
can move forward. It's just a conditional
Um,
question
so
to make it
do
so that
you
in the
use the
inquiry.
online booking engine at all? No.
Currently, I don't because you don't have conditional questions like that. I'm using the one in WordPress to
Because I
be able.
think that the online booking engine, because it does show packages and pricing before you get contact information. And so I think that can help weed out in this case, just throwing it out there. And you can also use a mode that just generates proposal requests. So they can't actually book. So you can
Yeah.
review it and choose to send a proposal.
I just want
Uh,
it. I just want a button that just says, "Hey, are you okay with this?" on condition on whatever the
Right.
style of event is. Because I don't use your guys' packages necessarily because mine is all talent fee based and based on a lot of different factors. So it's not a
Yeah.
one price fits all
Oh,
for
so the
everyone.
pricing's kind of starting at, yeah. Okay, got
Yeah,
it. That
exactly. You
makes
hear what
sense.
I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So no, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
answering.
no, appreciate the feedback. Okay, cool. So the dashboards, I mean, I think that's a huge feature, right? It's high use, as we mentioned. I mean, a lot of people are using it, so that's great. And it was consistent feedback over the years. I would argue that's been consistent feedback in the survey,
Mhm.
but it seems like last year was the most common in some form or another. We enhanced the messaging features of Check Cherry, so you can now send a message later or schedule it, so to speak, when sending. And so you just do that by a new message, and yeah, pick the time, date, and time. Use case here, I think people were basically, hey, if I'm working late at night, I don't want client to know I'm working at midnight or something like that. That's kind of the use cases that I was hearing from.
I think
Um,
that applied, to text messages too. Maybe you're, sending a text message and you certainly don't want that to go out at night. So
yeah, right. Yeah. That's interesting, right? You don't want to bother them in the middle of the night. And so that's in there. You can finally add multiple attachments in your email. So you can add multiple files and send an email. Keep in mind there are some file limits that email service providers implement. And if you're always sending the same attachments, you probably should upload them somewhere online. That way you can always have the links and then you can change that file. Um, at a later date, basically. But that's done. And then we have kind of we this kind of relates to the UI, but the quick send button. And so if you go to a booking now, we have what we call quick send, and this is just kind of a better UI experience for accessing all those automated messages and custom templates that you have. We kind of break them up and we've tried to make that better in the automated messages, easier to understand. Automated messages versus custom templates versus system templates, all that stuff. I think it's still a little confusing. It's just a harder problem for us to solve, I think, all around. But you can send now, you can add any of them to the queue, and you can send any of them now. Before that was only options based on the settings. And then you can link right to it. So Larry's got his hand up. Hey, Larry, what's going on? Go ahead and chat with us.
Yes. First of all, you guys are doing a fantastic job with the software, the updates. It has tremendously improved our business's efficiency
Love that.
and ultimately the client experience. We have been able to migrate to pretty much a 95% online booking.
Love
Um,
it.
yes. So seeing those emails come in the middle of the night really makes spending that subscription well worth it. And
Love
then
it.
also my team, we use it for managing the team and the experience attendants and the DJs. And so thank you so much for just really empowering and enabling our business to grow utilizing your software.
Love it.
What I would like to see is kind of like, I guess maybe like I don't know the terminology, but more of like a logic tree when clients are booking, maybe like just for example, if they know their budget, but they don't know which photo booth experience they want, or if they want a DJ, like a way that we can provide a questionnaire essentially that is dynamic based on their responses to with the goal of ultimately getting them the right experience for their particular event.
So,
Does
I
that
mean,
make sense?
basically, you want to go through and say, hey, what's your budget? And I'll show you what I have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that kind of,
And then also put in additional factors, in there, more than just budget, but that would be nice to see something like that that kind of guides them to the right package,
right.
because more of a consultative versus like a menu of items.
Yeah.
Uh,
Tell me what are some of the other areas that you would want to branch off, or yes, we talk about price. What else?
Yeah, so speaking about photo booths specifically, we offer different types of photo booths. So we offer roaming photo booths, green screens, all of that good stuff. So being able to understand, first price, then also are they looking for a photo experience or if they're looking for a video experience? If they're looking for like prints, if they want that in there. So just really things that kind of narrow down, oh, you need this package because it does come with the open air photo booth or with prints, with backdrop included, things of that nature. So that would be some of the things that I would definitely incorporate in there in navigating the user to the client to the right package.
Yeah. And Cam, you're right. It's similar to what you were saying with price. So good feedback. Yeah, I like it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Checklists were enhanced. So we have now you can assign checklist items to staff members. So that's new. And then they can view their assigned checklist items. And checklists are one of those things where what we see is typically people with larger staff counts use checklists as opposed to just kind of single operators. Obviously, you're not as worried about it. But so this was I think it was a great enhancement, basically, because you have team members that are responsible for certain things. And so checklist is awesome. If you're not using it and you have staff, I recommend it. Set due dates, all kinds of great stuff. So speaking of the staff, we also did an improvement to staff availability settings. So staff members can now set their availability based on specific days, start times, end times, that type of stuff. And so, excuse me. Obviously, it's important if you have people that work with you and have lives outside of working with your business. And so they're not willing to do weekdays or maybe they can't do anything too late because they have children. I'm not quite sure. I mean, there's various reasons, but your staff can now basically set some constraints. And I think longer term, we'd like to have even more features around scheduling and staff stuff, calendar integrations, all kinds of stuff. But this is a good step in the right direction, I think. It really helps us.
Probably worth mentioning, all of the staff availability stuff is in the mobile app as well. I think to me where I think the sweet spot of the mobile app is for your staff, where they don't necessarily want to log in, they don't want to remember sit down and do it. They just want to do things quickly on their phone. So
Yeah, the staff stuff is important. Payments. So we did payments is really important, obviously, for everybody, and we added, I think, probably one of the more notable features for most existing customers, the credit card surcharges. That was that I think since day one, people have been asking to do surcharges and stuff. And so you can now do that on your payment plans or payment settings, should I say. So credit card, ACH, whatever it be, and different payment processing fees. Worth noting, there are various laws that you might need to comply with. So check with your local regulations. But this is a great way for people to recoup the payment processing fees, give clients the option to pay with card, and still earn the same amount. We did tax exemption for clients. So I would put this in the payment section as well. So if you have a customer who you're doing repeat business with and they're a nonprofit or something like that, you can now mark their account as tax exempt and upload a document. And if they book online or if you create proposals, it'll be tax exempt. So easier than overriding it on each booking. That's how it was before. Payment plans. And so this was a huge feature. A lot of work went into payment plans.
So Larry asks if we have a way to pull tax exempt clients. And let's see here under the client list. I don't think we do, but just chat with us sometime. That'd be an easy one for us to add. So.
But the payment plans is new. And so this allows you to basically offer set payment plan dates, hey, pay a deposit up front and then 3 payments and, broken out evenly to your event or monthly payments. Obviously, customers could have made a payment of any amount at any time towards their balance. But we think this is really cool. And what I love is the automated charges on cards. You can set that and require it or configure it. And I think it's just great for businesses to basically smooth out cash flow. It's great for customers because they can, know what to expect and pay off over time, that type of stuff. So this is new. What do you think so far has been the feedback on the payment plans, Matt?
Um, yeah, broadly positive. I think there's a few people that want to be able to do things like hide the full balance up front. So there may be a few more tweaks we make to it, but yeah, it's been real positive. We've been seeing people set up payment plans, and I think it's just a nice way to kind of simplify one less thing to worry about, and I think it's mostly useful for high dollar amounts. If you're doing a lot of weddings, things like that. You're dealing with people on a limited budget, but a high dollar amount. And so I think payment plans really help a lot with that.
Yeah, I think that's,
And it's
okay.
it's also a selling feature for your customers too, or for you too, as an advantage you can give, your customers as,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah,
start payment,
Cam.
we'll handle the whole process. So.
Yeah, Cam, you're not offering payment plans yet. Is that what am I hearing you that? Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah, I've thought about it for years, and we just haven't had that option here, and so I'm excited for that. I'm
Yeah.
curious if there's any thoughts on actually making it so people can't make a payment more than what you want them to pay, as far as like the first couple payments go, because sometimes you don't want them giving you the money in a physical year before the actual event for taxes.
Oh, the tax stuff.
So I don't know if that's an option. Just a thought I wanted to throw out there.
So
That
one
was the
one
only
thing we've
thing.
had a few requests for is to like we always show the pay the full balance up front feature
Yeah,
or option, and that's one we'll probably make optional. The only kind of hiccup there is a lot of times people set their final due date, say 14 days before the event, and then if we didn't have the pay full balance, then nothing would show up. So
exactly. Yeah,
we
I
just kind of
understand
have to make
why.
sure. Yeah, so there's a few like edge cases we'll have to figure out first, but
Cool. No
um,
worries. I was just wanted to
yeah, but
mention, yeah.
I think that's something that it's worth doing, and I don't think it'll be too hard for us to add. So
If people want to give me money, I'm taking it. That's all I'm saying.
I
Taking
just don't
it.
want to deal with it all in one year. I mean, I think it was last year I got paid $45,000 in full payments for this year. And I was like, ugh, I don't want to have to sit on this for
Right.
9.5 months. That's where I was at with some of them. So that's the only reason I share it. It's
Yeah,
not
I get
the
it.
problem. It's just it'd be easier to just say, you can't pay that extra.
Right. And I guess it makes sense because they're already committed, right? I mean, they're already committed. It's not necessarily like, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a problem. It's just more of a
yeah,
I prefer not to get it so early that it's like sitting there in the account for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. Another big feature was ACH direct debit payments. And so now, I think probably since day one, people have wanted ACH at Check Cherry. And I think the reason it wasn't always a top priority is because we don't think that customers necessarily, are itching to log into their bank account and do ACH. Certainly now, unless there's a reason, such as paying payment processing fees. So if I can save $40 or something, sure, I'll log into my bank and take the 30 seconds or something like that. I think that that's a common pattern or a reasonable pattern, to expect somebody to do.
I
But
think there are
but
some
yeah,
kind of disadvantages to ACH with, it does clear a lot more slowly. It's just kind of a little bit more complicated. There was a lot to kind of deal with on the back end as far as, somebody puts the wrong number in, and then, the funds don't get through and things like that. So definitely a lot of complexity to it, but I think, I think it's been pretty reliable. We've been seeing people using it. I think it's been a good addition as well.
like it. Mini session enhancement. So we improved the mini session feature of Check Cherry to allow for multiple bookings to happen in one time slot. And so, for those who are confused, mini sessions are often used kind of like one date, multiple booking slots. And so photographers use them. We see them with corporate headshots, Santa photo shoots, that type of thing. Um, and this will basically allow you to say, hey, there's 50, I'm going to have 15-minute long slots. It's only going to take a few minutes to get everybody, but I don't, have 10 people come in within this 15-minute slot. And then if people are a little late, a little early, it doesn't necessarily matter. And so I'm excited for that. Yeah, 2 slots left, that type of thing. And we haven't run any numbers to see what the usage is like on the mini sessions. But I do know that people do use it for the Santa sessions and stuff like
Yes,
that.
it's interesting sometimes I don't think it's a huge feature of Check Cherry, but it's something that, we had somebody using it for like Santa sleigh rides, or we've seen photo boothers set up, just in a location and book it out for the whole day or things like that. So it's kind of interesting seeing some of the things people do with it.
So what else we got? Integrations. So QuickBooks integration was a 2024. Also, I mean, probably one of those things that it's, almost from day one, people wanted some level of a QuickBooks integration. We finally got it done. Is it still just for US customers, or do we now have
US and I think Canada's in beta.
beta? If
Yeah,
you're in
so
Canada and you want to do that, let us know, and we can kind of hook you up. Yeah.
yeah, all of the fun thing with QuickBooks for us anyway is the all the tax implications of everything. Every country handles sales tax differently, so we just kind of have to go through and test everything with each country, and so we just kind of need to, some people willing to begin
And
it
so if
Dutch.
somebody's from the UK or Australia and wants to test out the QuickBooks integration, they should reach out to us, Matt.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, cool. So yeah, let us know. We integrated with Patty. So they offer photo booth templates. And so Patty is really cool service. I think 10,000 plus customizable photo booth templates. You can bring them in a check cherry, have your clients pick them, all that good stuff. So check that out. And then also we upgraded the integration with PBO templates. So that's photoboothtemplates.com, and really changed it to where it uses more of CheckCherry's native features, if you will. And so that's great because it just works really well when we know when a template's been picked and all that good stuff. And you don't need a subscription to access the PVO templates. I don't know with Patty, do you need a subscription to access Patty's templates? I don't remember.
I don't think we require a key or anything. Yeah, I think once you go to actually download it, then of course you would. But and then they've got
Yeah, you
a
would need it, right. You need it
yeah,
once you get the template.
yeah,
One of
and
my favorite features that we added was the global search. So that's been really helpful. It was a kind of a consistent, not major, but consistent support issue where people were looking for things, and there was multiple search text areas where you'd have to find leads versus, bookings, and maybe something would be checked or unchecked and untoggled. Um, but this has been great. And so we'll probably enhance this in 2025, would be my guess. I'd love to see us even pull in things like packages and settings or add-ons. If you want to find an add-on real quick, we have to see how that all works with the ranking and all that stuff. But yeah, global search is awesome. Came out great. The media library is new. And so also another thing. So but I don't know that anybody ever really asked for global search. That was not really something that people asked for, but we knew it was something that would be really helpful. The media library is something that people asked for quite a bit, and they're just using the same images again and again, and they wanted them in Check Cherry. So now you can do that. So if you're changing the header of your proposal, you can basically grab, items from your media library, frequently used, that type of stuff, and go from there. So that's been great, and not a lot of feedback on the media library either. I'm going to say that's a good thing and that it's working, um, but we haven't heard a lot of feedback on that one either. Another feature related to packages and add-ons was you can now include add-ons automatically with a package. And so you can do it free of charge, or you can actually include it plus the cost. So that's been really helpful for bundling services, and just great for doing things like managing your availability with add-ons for those premium packages, that type of stuff. And so I also think I'm curious to see how people use it over time, but yeah, you can include add-ons automatically. And before in CheckJarry, you would just basically in descriptions say stuff and maybe do a booking bundle, and it would work. But if you had a lot of it, it would become unwieldy, basically, and kind of hard to understand what was going on. Um, Larry says contract templates is a current feature, correct? I'm not quite sure what you mean by the contract templates. We don't have any, there's no various templates. There's a contracts, a terms section, but we don't have templates that you can pull in. It'd be cool. We should do stuff like that, kind of a starting point. The contracts are tough because state laws vary and, the devil's in the details on that stuff. But I think giving you guys a place to start, and then kind of modify from there, even reach out to a local attorney, who knows your jurisdiction, the laws would be cool. Go ahead, Larry. Yeah.
So yes, so my question is more along the lines of when I have a client that has strict like legal requirements that we have to integrate into our standard agreement. But those requirements are for every event that they book. So
Client-specific contract terms.
correct. There you go.
Yeah. And not a feature. And I think they're the first to mention that, actually. I don't, Matt, have you heard that one before?
No,
I'm going to
no,
be the first to mention a lot of stuff, man.
No.
Might as well get used to it.
Yeah, no, it's good. Well, it's good in that we want new information. It's bad in that, it's harder to prioritize things that just get mentioned once. Tell me more. How often does this happen? In terms of throughout the year? I mean, is this like one
So
client? Is this
no, so it's
client?
most of my business is corporate nonprofit. And all of them, I'd say 85% of them, like my contracts my standard agreement is redlined. And then I'd say 80% of my business is repeat business. So it'd be nice to, once I finally get those red lines done and I can integrate that into that specific client's contract going forward, I won't have to go through the legal because that sometimes takes weeks to get
Right.
through some of these companies' legal departments. So I'm just wanting to have, once I have it set and approved.
No, it makes sense. And you just override it manually, I would assume, right? Now.
I do.
Yeah, just change it. Yeah. No, it's interesting. I haven't heard that before, but that's good to know that that's happening. I think, as a side note, I think the best feedback that our customers give us is kind of when they help like explain the problem of what's going on. You know what I mean? So you did a great job of that. I mean, that's really helpful, giving context, why it's helpful, all that stuff. So love it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Native app updates also. So, our iPhone and Android apps got updates. So you can send scheduling message. You can view the open click bounce status of messages. We did a whole new message center, in fact, where you can review and approve messages. There's quite a bit in there. As a side note, I mean, as Matt's on here, I don't know if it works. At least on the Mac, if you have a Mac, you can download CheckJarry as a desktop version and get in-app alerts. I thought that was pretty cool. You can also obviously use the app. I don't know why anybody would do that, but you can get the in-app alerts, which is kind of cool on the desktop. So if you want, get those, you can look at historical messages, add multiple attachments to your emails. Adjust the send replies, improvements to message template system overall. There was just a lot there. And I like what you said earlier about the messages kind of being, really a staff thing, primarily the sweet spot. But a lot of people use the app, certainly. And then there was just a ton of small stuff, like I say, there's just a lot of, as you guys give us feedback, we prioritize, we try to squeeze things in here and there. And while a lot of those changes aren't noteworthy or, even that memorable, I think over time what happens is those add up to just making a great user experience. And so we really appreciate all the feedback you guys have given us. What are some of your favorite features from 2020?
Hello, Jude and Matt. Can I ask a
Hey,
question?
yeah,
How you
sure.
guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, sorry I joined late, so I didn't want to
You're good.
just jump in. One of my questions would be like, I work with certain event centers, and I kind of have a deal with them whereby I give like a little bit off here and there, and some of them provide me with a list. I don't want, and mostly the list is just their name an email, no phone number included. But I'm looking for, is there a way in the future, you guys, because you're kind of automated messages already, but in more of like, people that are you don't have onboarded already, you can just like get the list of, or because like one of the event places now send me like 50 people that I have booked for next year or like this coming year. And all I have is their email. But I would like to do like kind of email automation without having to leave Check Cherry ecosystem to maybe like another this thing. Like I don't know if I'm putting it right, but the idea is like
So,
having automation system for people that I've never sent a proposal to or create a new account for, because that means I have to create new account for 50 people before I can send them those automated message that you guys currently have built in place.
mhm.
Am I making any sense? If I am not, just let me shut up.
So so what I'm hearing is you want to be able to upload a list of leads and then send them emails and automated messages. Am I correct on that?
Yes, something like that without having all the full information about their party apart from the date, their name, and the email address.
So, just a couple of thoughts. One, we've stayed away from uploading list of leads because typically when people do that, it's just going to end up resulting in more spam reports, I guess. So it's like, hey, I want to have my list of leads and send email blast and that type of stuff. We don't have those features at the moment. Yeah, mass emails, specifically because they tend to damage our deliverability, basically, or your deliverability even from your account. Um, and so Check Cherry doesn't do much on sales automation. I can see where it would be helpful. I think if we ever did, more complex sales CRM type features where you upload lists of leads and mass email and it goes out on different IP addresses and different email addresses, I could see something like that. I don't know that it'll be 2025. I don't, Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the thing we wrestle with. I mean, it's an obvious feature to have, be able to send out email, in larger quantities. It's just the problem we run into is, it's so frustrating when a proposal doesn't get through, or you're trying to go back and forth with the client, and and that's not getting through. And unfortunately, like sending out a bulk, 50 emails at once, just kills the deliverability rates. And so, in a perfect world, we would have had it years ago. It's just kind of figuring out how to balance those two things, I think. So
Yeah. I mean, like from a technology standpoint, it's, like it's probably not that big of a feature. We already have the messaging, all that
yeah.
stuff. It's just more managing the IP addresses and reputation and all that stuff. It just seems like a lot of work, and will lead to more customer service issues and unhappy customers, frankly. So that's kind of, yeah, that's where that stands right now. But like I say, there are ways we can get around that, right? Or we can mitigate that with different IP addresses and sending and, that type of stuff. Maybe it's a feature you pay extra for that would help as well. I'm not quite sure. We'll see, but good feedback.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. My
Yep.
other question would be, which ways are you guys currently thinking implementing AI for some of us that has dyslexia and barely want to type anything to create a nice message? Hey, I'm guilty of it. Like,
Mhm.
I love Check Cherry. You guys know, at least you've heard my African voice like a couple of times now. But like definitely there's a couple of things that I'm still learning to do better within the system, or that I will hope you guys put in place, because like I do a lot mostly weddings. We know how this female feel. They love aesthetics. Immediately they click book now and take them to Check Cherry site, I lose half of them because I track it with Lucky Orange. And yeah, you guys have a good features whereby if they fill the form out, I can always get them, oh, let me complete this whatever for you. But most times it's like they just like, oh, okay, it looks different because the design from your page is not translating to the design in Check Cherry, because Check Cherry has its own thing, and you can upload everybody's font and stuff like that. So I would love the idea whereby one day everything stay on my website, but Check Cherry is still killing it,
Yeah.
in
Did
the
I
back
did I
end.
understand you correctly that 50% of people that click over do book?
No, a lot of them just drop off from there. They just fall off.
What
Or
percentage?
maybe because I can't even track it, because So I most times Lucky Orange will even show me once they're out of my website. I can see what's going on. And I can only try to track it individually by seeing, okay, how many of them fill out the form or like, and it's very, very like, I would say 10%, if not less, fill out the form that way. So mostly I just took that aspect out and just sent them a brochure with the hope that they'll fill the form, like because I use a lot of Google ads. So they'll fill out the form, then I send them a brochure after they click submit. That's the way I've been using to try and medicate them leaving the site after they click book now. Because I don't want to talk to them if I have it my way, I don't want to talk to them. I just want them to book if they like what they see and if the price works for them. But right
Mhm.
now, I couldn't do that because I feel like I lose a lot of them once they click book now and it changed to Check Cherry website. That's what I've noticed.
It's not consistent with what we see over the years of Check Cherry, that being material with conversions. I would think they don't see the pricing until they click book now, I would assume, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and my hunch is that's probably where most of the drop off happens.
Okay.
Is they see the price and they're like, well, I'm not going to continue because I can't afford that. And I would argue that that's a win, right? Because then you don't end up with a lead in your system that you have to waste your time, who's never going to understand the value or have the expectation, I guess, of even being in range. And so I think it's okay. I mean,
We see a lot too with the way people buy online is they're looking for information a lot of times at first, and so they're coming, they're checking out different websites, collecting information and checking pricing. And they're not necessarily at the point where they're ready to book yet. Uh, and so typically, they'll come back later or, compare to other, they'll actually do the booking at a different time than when they first come to your website. But yeah.
any other thoughts on features in 2024? And if not, we'll kind of move on to what we're thinking in 2025. But I'd love to know what was kind of people's favorite feature, or maybe there was something smaller I missed, that that type of stuff. And if not, we'll kind of talk about.
Yeah, I think like the media gallery is pretty dope that you guys had that, and you can just pull from that every now and then because some people ask the same questions, and I don't know if I've had a PDF, but mostly images, and they're like, "Oh, can we see what your setup look like?" So depending on what they're asking, I just like, okay, hey, this is what you're looking for. I can do it easily on my phone, and I'm not also sure if you guys have an app. I think I'm gonna end up finally download it because I've just been using the mobile on my phone. I'm never sure if you guys have an app for like mobile phones.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, there's an iPhone and Android app. Check it out. And you can get the links at the bottom of checkcherry.com. Links and QR codes, that type of stuff. Uh, and then Cam, on your pricing thing, I mean, just could you even put on the web form like as like a title, hey, minimum price starts at X? Do you
The
have that?
problem is each style and type of event is different on pricing of where it starts at.
Uh,
So, like example is the luxury market that I'm in with wedding starts at a certain price point, whereas when corporate could be production, right? And I don't want to lose that lead when I say starting fee starts
yeah,
at, right? So the conditional is based on the type of event and then that. So,
yeah,
yeah. I just wanted to share, I
yeah.
appreciate that you guys answer as often and as fast as you do. I
Oh,
don't
on the chats, yeah.
Yes, I just want to share that as a user, that has been one of the most powerful tools of all tools when we can have a conversation with you guys, and especially with the things that you've listened to. QuickBooks this year, that was absolutely game changing for
Love
me.
it.
There's a few things I wanted to talk to you guys about, but I think that'll be on a different conversation when I'm at MEX. Are you guys going to be at MEX this year?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'll come find you and we'll talk a little bit about it. There's a few tweaks I'm hoping that we can, or if it's just something I'm doing wrong. But other than that, like I just really appreciate, and I think I'm speaking for everyone on the group that you guys listening to us. It
Yeah.
really means a lot as business owners in this, and that's why I went all in, and I'm trying to get all my friends to join because
Love
it's
it.
You have no idea how life-changing this is,
Nice.
and user-friendly. A lot of the other ones are not user-friendly.
Yeah.
Like training somebody and training yourself to get it figured out, it's just a pain in the ass. So thank you.
Yeah. Fast customer service, good customer service, easy to use software is never going to go out of style. And so it's
Yeah.
top priority for us.
I can
Uh,
definitely second what everything DJ Cam Reeve just said. I have like three people trying to take me away from Check Cherry that yeah even cost like a whole. I'm like, okay, I'm paying you to teach me Google Ads or this, not to try and change my CRM system. I like what it works. I understand it. Like it's the
love it.
truth. I'm just being honest. Like even though I still have like some things that I would like it to change, but you can't have it all. But in all honesty, and also when there's a situation when you guys change your fee, I think Matt was the one that reached out to me because I'm like, was I couldn't because then I didn't know I was even monthly. I thought I was playing yearly, but he fixed that for me on the back end. So I appreciate it. I do
Cool.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you,
love
guys.
it, man. Thanks for the support in the business. There's a question in the chat here about they want to know if we're going to open up translations on the platform, and the main reason is they can't switch to Check Cherry because they're mostly in a French market, and so I'm assuming that's in Canada, Quebec or something. And I I wish it was easy for us to do international and localization in the app. It's not. It becomes actually quite a bit of work. And we do get requests for different languages. Um, I don't know. I mean, in my mind, it's like under 10 times in a year. So it's not often. And then it also tends to be, really vary. And so it's not something that we'll be adding anytime soon. I wish I had a better answer. I wish it was easier for us basically to just add other languages. But it's actually quite a bit of work, both in setting it up and then also in managing it, so to speak. So it's probably not something that's going to happen in the next year or few, would be my guess. Maybe something might change. We'll see. Maybe AI will give us a way to uh, automatically translate the app. It tends not to go so well. Um, and I guess on the comment on AI, we're interested in AI, right? We use ChatGPT and Midjourney and other things, and we have fun with it. We're interested in kind of learning and seeing kind of what works. We're fans of software that works, and so I could see what the message is, that being an area, where it can help you craft a message or make it more casual or more professional or something like that. That could really help. It's built in, so I get that. No specific plans for AI in 2025, at the moment at least. Rosie says, will you have any special trainings at PBX? And so I think the short answer is yes, we're going to do like a side talk. And I've got a talk with Rob at Photo Booth Expo because I think we're going to change it to basically how to get the most out of Check Cherry, something of that nature. Rosie, if there's anything specific you're looking to, learn, feel free to chat it in, and let me know. And then the person who mentioned about the translation said that's sad because Snappic offers an open translation where they can manually translate each buttons. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think software like Snappic is not as complex from the UI, what customers see. I mean, there's a lot of text and a lot of areas in Check Cherry that have to work. And it's just not an easy thing for us to accommodate.
Yeah, we've
And
got
I wish I had a different answer.
probably tens of thousands of strings you'd have to translate. Like
Yeah,
there's
I mean, it's a lot.
there's a lot between message automation and just
Right.
different integrations where we integrate with other tools. And unfortunately with the CRM, it's just kind of just a much more
Lot
complicated.
harder, and like I say, I wish I had a better answer. I mean, it would make me, if I had a magic wand, Check Cherry is available in any language you want. But we have to prioritize and run a business, and it's just not something that's really on the table right now. So, um, just I wouldn't mind because the rest is so nice. Put the effort on my side, translate. Yeah. No, I get that. It's just, but again, it's just a lot of work. And also, I think having users translate the whole app would not be feasible. So yeah. Um, and then in 2020, well, I guess Larry here, what does he have? Multiple fields for deliverable links. use several software for different photo booth experiences, and they all have their own unique gallery links. Yeah. And so, you can put a gallery link in the booking on the where is that the media? But we relabeled it deliverables. So you want to be able to do more than one, it sounds like. And so that's interesting. I could see that. You kind of build them out or something like that. Um,
Theoretically, you could actually put them all in the instructions. There's not really anything special about the instructions field, and if you put
there's your
a link
workaround.
in there,
Yeah,
it will
but
automatically. Yeah,
that's
but
good feedback.
it's a fair point.
Um,
Yeah.
Another thing we want to do is we want to do more integrations. So, we're always talking to other companies and seeing who's interested. We know that CheckCherry is better when it works with software you guys are already using. And so we're really open to integrating with other companies that do stuff that you guys use. If you ever have ideas for integrations, feel free to reach out to that company as well, let them know, especially with this. We'll be in February, we'll be in Las Vegas at the trade show. And if you're in the photo booth world, we'll be reaching out and just touching base with other vendors. So that's a good time to kind of touch base with people. So, um, in terms of 2025, so what do we have coming down the pipeline? So probably the next thing coming is going to be an appointments feature. And so this is basically, hey, I want to have a meeting with a client to qualify them, before the sale, after the sale, that type of thing. So that'll be coming probably first. We want to do things like rethinking how proposals work. We know people want more from our proposal system, everything from grouping multiple proposals to adding more content, changing the look, maybe themes. We'll see what that looks like. We're not quite sure. Um, we want to make it way easier for you guys to work together. So if you work with other people in your market, how do we make it easier for you guys to work together? We have some ideas around that. And I think we want to enhance some of the add-on features of Check Cherry. That's been, something that comes up quite a bit. Those are just some things that I think of off the top of my head. Matt, anything you can think of in
I
2025
would
that
say those are kind of the big ones that we know. But I would say the main thing is so we'll do our I don't know when we'll send out that survey, probably in the next couple of weeks. But every year we do an end of the year survey, and that's a good chance for us to because all year long we get different features, and sometimes something that's super important now. When you look back at the year, it's like, oh, that's fine, but there's something else that just keeps coming up. So it's really helpful to see like, okay, what are the takeaways once we get feedback from everybody? What are the things people are missing? And then like you say, with some of the things like, ways of working together, we don't necessarily get a lot of feedback about that, but we think there's some, we have a lot of cool ideas that we think would really
yeah.
kind of move the needle on some of that.
And Cam says, hey, I'd love the work together option when working with other companies that use CheckCherry. I have three in my market and we do events together. Yeah. And so it's something we see, and obviously there's unique opportunity there for us. Um, the devil's in the details on a lot of these features. It's not like we just set out to knock it out. I mean, there can be things that happen that are unforeseen, where things come up quicker, or, priorities change, or maybe it's not a good time to do this because we should do this instead, or we have to get other groundwork, laid for that feature to work. But
Sometimes
um,
we'll start on a feature and then, partway through it's like, this is too confusing. We don't like where it's going, and we
yeah,
just kind of punt on it for a little bit.
yeah,
So
not all the work we do gets put out. Yeah, I mean, I think that's important to think about too. And um, But yeah, I mean, so give us feedback on the survey. And if you have any thoughts on what you'd like to see, feel free to share it. But chat with us anytime. And I guess that's another thing that's new in 2024 is we hired Sam. So Sam's been helping us with chat. We still see the chats. We're still monitoring chats. We're still heavily involved. But it's been really nice to have her help us out and allow us to focus on other areas. And just less disruption all around, I would say has been really nice for Matt and I. But Sam's been working out great. And so we're really happy with her and hope that she's, happy with you know, what we do for her, and everything's going well so far. So we're excited about that. And 2025 should be good, and we might even be doing more hiring. So we'll see what happens. Well, everyone, thanks for coming. I mean, if anybody else thoughts on 2024, 2025, feel free to, you know, chat with us. You know, raise your hand now. You can share some things. And if not, we'll sign off.
And happy holidays, happy New Year to everybody as well. So really appreciate that.
Yeah. Cool. And there he says 2020 top UI and UX enhancements for me would be to consider Check Charity subscribers' target client being corporate and nonprofit organizations instead of private events. What do you mean by that, Larry? I'm not following that.
So thank you for giving me just a second. So since we've shifted away from private events, such as weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, things of that nature, and focused more on brand activations and corporate galas and fundraisers, things of that, and those types of events, just dealing with the program directors, the program managers, all of the quote unquote event organizers for these different companies. They enjoy the professionalism of the platform. However, like on the back end, I'm doing a lot of like workarounds to appeal to that type of client specific needs. So,
Great.
and I mentioned before, like just with for one example, when they're booking online, there needs to be a place where they can enter the name of the event. All of my events have like an event name. So when they're seeing that first proposal, it'll come out usually the organizer's name and then what they're getting from us, like Sarah Jackson 209 party booth. And it'll say that as the title, when it would be much more
I think maybe you chat
simpler,
about this. Larry, I remember looking at your
easier.
account. What was how would we do that though? That's what I didn't understand. I remember looking at your account and the titles were kind of I guess generic and not necessarily something we could automate.
Well, I think it's as simple as adding in a field or a place during the request for quote process of giving maybe like a conditional where you say, do you have an event name or what is your event name? That is the question that I ask my clients every single time is what is the name of your event? And they will enter that information in there. And I wish that there was a way for that to automatically pull to proposals, to the contract, to everything, because that's how they differentiate all of their events anyway.
Right.
You know, because they're doing multiple events a year and they're booking them months in advance. So having to, sift through because they're email driven. I'm trying to educate them on the simplicity of the client portal. That's what we call it. And they're loving it, but there's like, I don't really see the difference in when they're going through their emails on the different types of events. And being able to do the contracts where they're customized for specific clients, legal requirements, and all of that. That would be another way that we can focus on
you mentioned
our
that.
client being corporate. So just little things like that really make a big impact on our day to day.
Yeah. No, I get it. I appreciate the feedback. And, I think, have you tried doing an extra question on the booking process just to ask that information? I know it won't set the title. The
I have not tried that. I will definitely give it a shot and see if there's something I can do as a better workaround. But it is it's an easy enough thing to where I don't mind doing it, but it seems like it definitely could be added simply to the platform.
Just what happens on our end is there's a lot of these type of things where one person has something specific that works with them, but like nobody else is asking for it. It's just hard to make that stuff a priority, quite frankly.
And that's what I've been explained, and I definitely understand that for sure. I just think that as more photo booth, because this is what I see. I see as more subscribers start using Check Cherry, what the common theme is going to be is you're changing the way that clients expect to book photo booth services. And I'm just talking about photo booths, even though we offer a lot of different stuff, just specifically photo booths, the normal process that they're dealing with, at least in my market, which is Texas and Oklahoma, New Mexico, they are used to speaking to someone from that initial touch point and having a conversation about their event and all of this before we send anything over. So that's not happening with my business. I don't have the time, the bandwidth to do that. So I really lean on, the platform being as seamless and as automated and as efficient as possible, with every interaction. And you guys, like I said, you all are doing a fantastic job. And I can't even stress it enough because I get goosebumps whenever I think about to my business and how it has allowed me to scale and grow exponentially faster because of the simplicity and the experience that my clients get in every review. I have over 800 5-star reviews. Praise the Lord. Like, we're doing great business. The main theme is that I see is we're professional. And it is from that initial website interaction that links over to the Check Cherry page. And now they are in our platform, in our network, and really just loving the way that they are engaging with our business without even talking to an individual. That's what I love about it.
I love it. Thanks for the kind words. I mean, it's just encouraging to hear that we're making an impact on your business, and keep the feedback coming.
Absolutely.
We like
and
the
I'll see
feedback.
you in Vegas. I'll be there in Vegas. So I'm going to stop by.
Come say hi. Yeah, I appreciate it, Larry.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Y'all have a great
Hey, guys.
evening.
Awesome.